but as a young minister, there's the expectations that comes in from what the fathers have done ahead of you. You know, I mean, the drive that they have is ridiculous. So there are questions and doubts that comes into your mind. Will I ever be able to fast enough? Will I ever be able to pray enough? There was one woman that we held her hand that came to meet us, myself and my great friend, Pastor Shola Olukoya, and said, "Oh, I need prayer for fruit of the womb." We held our hands. We prayed intensely, 15 minutes. Even the way the man was even shaking my hand. It's a strong, passionate prayer, man. It was shaking my hand. I was shaking the woman's hand like we will shake whatever is wrong out of you out. After we finished 15 minutes, this woman goes, "Hey, so when will I be to see Daddy Gio?" I'm like, in the nicest of ways, "Are you serious, cuz? So our own way we don't do."
Oh, this one.
Exactly. So I'm like, why did we even pray for you? So that kind of creates a situation when people actually say, "Sir, pray for me." Then, and you're like, "Really, me?" You're like, "Yeah, you." I'm like, "Are you sure you don't want that?" So before we start now,
don't waste my time.
Don't waste my time, because and it even creates doubt, and that even goes into some of the pastors in ministry and in mission as well. Hello. Shalom. This is Confession with PLA. We are not in a box, but this is an opportunity for you to say whatever is on your heart. And I have PTA here. Welcome back to this episode. Today we're talking about expectations for a firstborn or from a firstborn. And in this case, from also a lastborn as well. Now, she's the first. And I'm the last, but not the least. Okay. Well, let's pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we are grateful for this opportunity to share today. Lord, as we come to confess and also open up, Lord, please accept our confessions. And as we open, Lord, please let it work for someone, heal someone, and build and guide them, and us as well. And Lord, everyone working behind the scenes, bless them as well.
Amen.
In Jesus' precious mighty name we've prayed.
Amen.
All right, firstborn. What does it feel like to marry a lastborn? I used to be upset with you because you didn't switch in time. You used to think that you are still the firstborn here. Thought I was one of your siblings.
No, it's not that. I think that it's just a mentality thing.
What? For you?
Yeah, as the last born, you were spoiled. So, it was what? I poured it back on you.
I was spoiled.
Yes, now.
Spoiled where?
Last
More
borns
like
are always pampered.
In my own case,
Super
I wasn't pampered.
Yes, you were pampered.
They didn't even give me pampers. Napil all over me. I want your white cover.
No,
anyway,
I think last borns are pampered.
No, in my own case, I work the hardest. And sometimes they'll just call you randomly. And you turn up. I just didn't know where you were.
Yes, that is being pampered.
That's
now.
a waste of energy.
Yes, that's being pampered.
I could have answered and you would have just told me this is what we want.
Would you honestly say that you did, growing up, you did more chores than your siblings?
Yes. Because of the gapping and spacing between us. I mean, between me and the first, there's a clean about 20 years, give or take. And then after him, the next person was 2 years. Then after her, the next person was 2 years. And then there was a break. Yeah. And then there was my PD. And then between us was 4 years again. Yeah. So, at some point, I was the only messenger, literally.
I think
serving everybody.
Well, that's normal stuff. You are the last born now. What are we supposed to do?
I thought we were spoiled.
I
thought we were spoiled.
But you can't compare the experiences they had as the firstborns to what you had.
That you had as the firstborn? What was your experience? Please tell me very much.
As a firstborn, number one, I think that a lot of responsibility falls on you.
Like?
Number one, responsibility to be responsible. I don't know. So you have to grow up quick.
Okay. Fair enough. So they're shortening your childhood.
Will you say?
Pain,
I don't think it's more. Well, it's you just growing up fast. I don't know about these days how people raise their children. We'll talk about that later. But you had to grow up quickly. You had to be responsible. You had to be the older person. You had to maybe take less sometimes so that your siblings can take more.
Yeah.
You know, so it's things
but
like
you
that.
always get all the new clothes, and then they just hand down to the rest of us.
It's not always. It might not necessarily be always.
We get the used stuff.
No, you get the new stuffs.
Maybe this new generation, but the whole generation, everybody was managing what came from the top.
I don't think so.
It trickled down.
Maybe sometimes, but if you remember well, I'm sure you had some new things and some extra things that your siblings might not have had.
They didn't used to let us wear all our new things immediately. So sometimes you don't even know if it just came new or they just washed it well. But yeah, okay then, your responsibility as the firstborn, you are meant to be able to be the one. Actually, I feel for you guys, to be honest, because from what I've seen in the culture in which we are part of, you guys at some point will now start be helping the parents to pay school fees for the siblings. You would also at some point.
I think that depends on families.
It depends on families.
In some families.
You make a contribution into the house.
Yes, exactly.
In some cases, you might not even go to school, so that you can hustle with the parents to bring money in, so
make
that
sacrifices.
make sacrifices. I mean, there are a few cases, and I give that to you guys so that the next person will be able to get to a better school. You guys always go like
you mean firstborns?
Yeah,
firstborns. Yeah.
So
okay.
not the next child. After the first, would usually things are easier for them. So you are the experiment. In most cases, but you're also the most loved. I mean, look at our own firstborn, but only by the grace of God alone. She's been to more countries before she was 3 than I've been by the time I was 30. Exactly. That was extreme love. That's a lot of love. Yeah. But then it was like a lot of attention and care that this is the first one, especially if it's couples that have been waiting for a child for a long time. They will over pamper that first one. It is the second one that comes and makes them adjust and share the pampering.
I think it's more of you adjusting to your new reality.
Okay.
And so just like you said, sometimes some parents sort of like didn't get it right, certain things right, or didn't catch up in time. So by the time they're having more children, they already get the hang of it, and so they're able to do better and all of that. So yeah, I think it's really more of that.
So in some parts, the firstborn suffer. Another part, the firstborn actually enjoy. What kind of firstborn are you? Pampered.
So I'm grateful for the family that God put me in.
Dad did everything for you.
No, not necessarily.
Yes, he did.
No, not necessarily.
Probably still doing.
No, I mean.
Confess. Have you collected any loan from your dad that you didn't pay back?
More
That's
like
yes.
he gave a
That's
gift.
yes.
No, not
That
loan.
is a yes.
Of
Anytime
course,
there's
everyone's
long
parents
silence,
give them gifts.
any long silence means yes.
Every parent
Which gift? It was a loan. You turned it to a gift.
Ah, were you there?
I'm guessing.
You were not there.
I wasn't there at the beginning.
Every parent gives
I
their
sense
children
it
gifts.
heavily in the spirit. He gave you a loan, you turned it to gift.
Really?
Because you know he won't collect it back. Daddy's girl. Yeah, and you're not talking about us last born that we are spoiled.
Okay, now it's time. Okay. What's your experience as a last born child, dude?
I mean, I didn't like it too. I was always the handbag. Every program I didn't have a say, I have to go along. And we went to a lot of programs. All sorts of programs that I had to even start creating it in my mind. I didn't even know. There was a series of programs we were going for at some point that all I remember was there was always one man in front and he's always calling people out to give offering for different things. And I'm like, I mean, that's when I started understanding that what's going on here now. Is there anybody here that is not an Elegbe Olori? Is everybody will go out now? But I mean, every program. Ate a lot of food in the car.
They didn't want to leave you at home. I think that was
I figured that if they had left me, I would have still been fine.
No, because they didn't trust you to.
Well, as a last born,
just be by yourself.
especially when my immediate one would have gone to school, I became creative heavily on my own because we couldn't afford a lot of toys then. So I saw patterns in everything. If I get into a place, I can count how many tiles are on the floor. I'll divide the tiles up and then create a football pitch on the floor. I used to do all sorts. You
You're creative.
Extreme because I was by myself. So if they left me at home, I would have been fine.
No, they won't do that.
I actually go along with everybody.
But
Security,
you see, so that is
everybody.
That is where the difference is. If the firstborn was home, they might have left you at home, the firstborn, to take care of everybody else.
That's dangerous. Because firstborns are bullies.
But Shebi, we're talking about first and last born. So you
Bullies.
see where the pressure
They were
and
stealing my meat. They'll say,
responsibility-
look away, there's a bird, and they'll steal my meat.
and the responsibility falls on the firstborn. But the last one, see all the pampering, taking you around. You eat
It
free
was
food.
not pampering.
You sit with
Absolute
mommy.
waste of my own personal time. My own personal time. I mean, the programs never finished in my own mind. Yeah? I mean, I enjoyed some benefits, like growing up in the city, which used to be a camp. I would go around and play and sleep off in places, and just all those nice aunties and uncles would
Take
carry
you
me
home.
and bring me home. You know, I would just sleep randomly anywhere in the camp. Sometimes it's on the grass by the entrance of the camp and the gates and all of that one. I mean, there was no privacy, by the way, zero privacy. People, they'll just come and say, oh, this is your family members, they are sleeping in your room tonight. No. No. But the firstborn had his own room. It was like a mini general overseer.
I mean, they do get their pecs. There's that age
He
where
was
parents,
the first person to travel out.
Yes,
and
of course.
refuse to come
wouldn't
back.
have sent you. They wouldn't have sent you that you're the last born. He has to be the first to also travel and enjoy those pecs.
Okay.
But I think parents realize that there's a certain age where their children get to that they need that privacy. There is a certain age where the children don't need privacy. That's the honest truth. I mean, I won't leave my 5-year-old to himself for the whole day. I need to know where he is, what he's doing, But I can obviously leave my 13-year-old to certain assignments and be sure that she's going to do them at a certain age.
Okay.
So that's just the thing.
All right. So what do I need to do? If I'm a firstborn right now, what do I need to do to ensure that my role, I'm playing it well? Because on technicality, not even being funny now, if anything was to happen to both parents, you're the next in line. Everybody behind you is looking up to you to make the calls, take the shots, and let us know what we're doing.
Yeah, so I think it's a privilege to be either a firstborn, to be born. It's a privilege.
Fair enough.
So basically, being a firstborn, understanding that certain responsibilities fall to you naturally, and you have to own it.
I'm going to throw you one cough now. Yeah, keep
basically
going.
own it. Being able to check on your siblings, check on your parents, make sure they're fine. Sometimes
so
it's not
is
even
a bridge.
Yeah, sometimes it's not even the big things. It's the little things that you do as a firstborn that matters. Checking on your parents, making sure they're fine, the little bits of whatever it is you can do for them and do with them, it goes a long way
Now, what if you have a situation where you have some not so, I'm careful of my words here, not so firstbornish firstborns?
What's that?
Okay. I didn't want to use the word. What if you have some useless firstborns? I was trying my best.
PLA.
I tried. That's
What
it. They
do
are
you mean
not
by
stepping.
useless?
They didn't step up to their role. The role they there, but they didn't step up into it. Because it's not everybody that some people they regress and they now start blaming.
So there are two things.
Maybe the second born, the third born that are now okay. Let's move this family.
So number one, there are two things.
Okay.
Some people, it depends on their personality. Some people buckle under pressure. To be honestly fair in this conversation, there are times that parents have overburdened certain
Yeah,
firstborns
yeah.
that they feel so stressed that they actually disconnect and just
And
pull back.
Yeah, and run away. Yeah, I
So
know you
that
feel like that.
that is definitely possible.
I won't
There are
feel
also
in one
instances where, no matter what some of them do, maybe their siblings just somehow seem to get it better. And so in that case,
How about the situation that some people say is using my star?
I don't know
using
about
my
that
glory.
one.
It's
It's
using
God
my
that gives glory. Me, I don't know about the star and the
God that give
glory.
glory.
Each one to his own. But the best thing, the advice is whether
King
you are a
did
first,
kill Abel.
a last, a middle, make sure you do the best and do what God has called you to do. Because that is where you prosper and that is where you succeed at it.
You have a what if you genuinely have a situation where maybe a family of 8 or whatever, and the 6th born is actually moving up to make sure it takes care of everyone?
Yeah, I think it's up to you as a person. Like I said, sometimes people have different push.
How will you do it?
Yeah.
If your third in line in your family is actually stepping up to do things, would you feel threatened as a firstborn?
I'll be happy that they're making it. I'll be happy that they're doing well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's just me. And also, me now also stepping up to do the best that I can and doing what I really... Because I think that a lot of people miss it. They function in places where they are not meant to be. And so they're really struggling at it.
Fair enough.
A lot of people have been pressured to go in different line, whether in career or business and stuff like that, and they're not really making it properly.
Yeah.
So it's stepping back and actually knowing fully what you need to do.
Okay.
Because I don't believe that some people are meant to prosper, some are not. I think it's more of you pushing yourself to where you have not been called sometimes.
Contentment as well also
exactly. Contentment is key.
It's great gain, the Bible says.
And again, being happy for whoever is making it, as long as...
It's difficult to be genuinely happy sometimes. So let me throw it in for you. 2 brothers went to give sacrifice to God. One took fruits and vegetables thinking that God should be eating healthy, and the other one took lamb.
They didn't say whether God should be eating healthy. You added that one to it.
I added that one to it. Fruits and veg, shawarma, lamb meat, very soft. They took basically skew, koto roasted. Anyway, and then God honored one against the other. How come he wasn't happy for the one that God took his own?
I think it's the human nature. Human nature, to be fair, naturally.
So are you saying if I'm making it or I'm shining, I shouldn't let my siblings know?
No. So the thing is, everyone will feel a certain way if your siblings or people you started with are making it. There's that how come I'm not doing as much? How come it's even possible that you feel a bit envious of them?
Yeah.
But what is important is that you don't let those feelings sit permanently on you, such that it now begins to grow into other things, and you now begin to hate or be jealous and plot evil against the other. So I think that is very key.
That's a good one, actually. I hope people would actually listen to that and hear that, because that's a good one. Because naturally, I would be like, something is either wrong with me. And then the one shining safe, you can go and do as you do. As a last born, knowing some other last borns, they overdo it sometimes. They overdo it. And then in this great nation that we are in, if you're not really holding up to Christ, if you're overdue, like somebody told me that they had a family event and they had to contribute money to make a payment. Yeah. And they've contributed and maybe they were short by 1 million. The firstborn too don't talk, say, let's contribute now. They contributed and that's where it ended. That's how the lastborn just went, instead of all these arguments back and forth, just transfer the 1 million. They're like, so it's all that can't transfer.
Now if you do pass.
That's how they did him. Village people, they did him. You can't transfer 1 million again.
Well, as a lastborn as well, you need to learn to accord respect. There's a place of honor and respect. Whether you have more or more than your firstborn,
And
you should
second and in
understand, or
between.
wherever, you should understand that there's a place of respect, there's a place of honor, there's a way that the person could have transferred that 1 million, and it doesn't look like rubbing it in their face, like, oh, you poor people, I beg, don't stress me. I'll just do this. I'll even return your money, Steph. What are you contributing?
Wow, the gas goes. And
there's a way you
bass.
do it that is still quite
How would
it
you
keeps their
recommend they do it?
dignity and honor and respect.
In that situation, how do you
So
recommend I give the 1
obviously,
million?
the
Not that
person-
it's me, no be me.
Yes, I know. So what I'm saying is, I don't know whatever conversation they had that made the person go like, you know what, you guys, please don't just stress me. I'm going to transfer. So it's in the way that you say it. It could be after they've transferred and the remaining balance. The person, I have some spare.
Spare 1 million.
Yeah, and now from some, they are your siblings now. There's a way siblings talk to one another. I did a
Would it not be
business.
better you just go and tell the older one secretly? And
Yes,
say,
I
"Egbon,
mean,
let
I'm
me pay
talking
to your
about-
own account, then you transfer it.
It
and-
could be.
Yeah.
That is another way. You
Yeah.
could actually send it to your elder sibling and be like, I would like you to front this and send it. Or you could, if you have a good relationship, you could just be like, bro or sis, don't worry about it. I'll just sort the remaining parts of this out. In your own close circle, not when the whole family or whatever. So you now let them know that you're the one that did it. As long
Okay.
as it's done. That's what's important.
Confession time. Confess something.
Why am I the one to confess?
I would say
You
my own too. You
something.
confess first. If you want to make the next show, if you don't confess, I'll bring you.
I think okay, so I think one of my confession today would be that as a
You pinched one of your siblings while you were bathing them, Abby. No confess.
would be that
You didn't like being a firstborn.
sometimes, the pressure growing up, not that I didn't like being a firstborn, but it's just
Daddy and mommy, are you watching
not
this?
pressure per se, but just the fact that you were meant to. So for instance, now in my growing up, my parents would share certain things, and when it wasn't enough, like Gbanye, now you are older. I used to I actually didn't like that. Like I'm supposed to get more since I'm the older.
It was a
So,
reverse for me. I got way less and less and less and less.
So it's exactly the same thing. So I would get less.
I didn't
because
like
was
that.
older. Exactly. I
didn't like that. I still didn't like
too.
that. So
didn't
now,
like that.
you know the worst part is when you are the one they sent to go and share it. And you are sharing.
You used to share to your older
They
siblings.
say I should go and submit. I'll now take, and I know what's inside. I'll now go and drop it with
Okay,
honor, drop it with honor, drop it with honor, and then the honor is reducing. It's like it's now there's no honor there.
At least you got her.
And those ones too, now you're telling me what to help them do with it.
So,
I love
yeah,
you guys, by the
I
way.
didn't
I
like
know
that.
you probably watch this. I love you guys. But
I
still,
didn't like that.
send
but
some
yeah.
back next time. The messenger is supposed
I'm
to
sure
be.
they really pamper. I'm your wife, so I know. Let's just leave that one.
They pamper me
Yes.
till now.
Yes.
Who? The siblings?
Yes.
Pamper me.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's leave the conversation.
Well, I will leave it.
We'll leave it.
That's your own confession.
Yes.
Okay. They pamper you more because they like you as a daughter-in-law and a sister-in-law, whatever. Okay. Next time, whatever they give you, if you don't share, because this one that you're on their side and suspecting you. So, on that note, we'll see you next time. This is Confessions with PLA and PTA out of the box. It's been fun, actually. So, when next we come, please get ready to confess something. Ciao, ciao. Peace.
Love you all.